Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of Behind the Bars for my new track, Long Way to Go. In the last video I was explaining how I went through a weight loss transformation and I went from 16 stone to 10.5 in the space of 6 months, and I was really happy with it. Now, following on from that, over the next few years, the weight started to creep back on slowly but surely, and I never got back to the size I was before, but yeah, it started to creep on. And a couple of years later, I went on a stag do for my mate, and a bunch of us went away, and there were a bunch of guys from school there who I hadn't seen since school, and they were all saying how amazing it was that I'd lost so much weight, and like how, you know, they remembered how big I was back at school, and that was cool. But like, I knew that I'd actually put a fair amount back on, and I was a little bit embarrassed, to be honest. And then when we got back from the holiday, I saw photos of us and like me in a vest, and like I just wasn't happy with it at all, man. I felt like I'd let myself down. So I set a goal of losing weight again, but this time it was much more specific, and rather than just lose weight, I set a goal of 10% body fat, and that was the thing I was really like fixated on. And I also really wanted to have a six-pack. That was like the big thing for me. So I joined a boxing gym and I met a guy called Henry, and Henry, if you're watching, big up, man. Henry's a personal trainer and he helped me start training, and we became good friends. And he taught me about like weightlifting and strength training and stuff like that, as opposed to just cardio, which is what I was doing before. And I started seeing really good results again. So it was great, but I started to get really into it, probably a little bit too much, and particularly the nutrition side of things, I became really obsessed, like the song says, you know. So it got to the point where I was like weighing out food like by the gram, and I was keeping spreadsheets. Like I literally had a spreadsheet that had all my like carbs and fats and things like that on it. And in my head, I was just absolutely fixated on this 10% goal that I had. So it took about a year in the end to achieve it, but I managed to do it. And you can see here some before and after pictures again. So in this before picture, you can see I've managed to put on a fair amount of the weight that I lost, but then in the after picture, I've got rid of it completely this time. So I'm much lighter here than I was the first time round. I think I'm about 10 stone here, so about 140 pounds, which is pretty light. So I was really happy with the results, but like in reality, because I've been fixated on that goal for so long and had become so kind of obsessed with it, when I finally achieved it, it was actually a bit of an anticlimax, because I stepped on the scales and I managed to beat the goal. Like instead of being 10%, I actually got down to 8%. But it was like a reality check, because as soon as I saw that number and I'd achieved my goal, it was kind of like, oh right, now what? And because I've been working towards it for so long, I don't know, I think I was expecting like a parade outside my window or something like that. But, you know, in reality, it was just me at 5 in the morning in a pair of pants, standing on some scales by myself, looking around and just realising that the only person who really cared about it was me. So as the song says, I did make a magazine cover, and you can see it right here. And that was another goal of mine, so I was really happy with that. But by the time that came out, it was actually a couple months after all of this, and I'd started to put some of the weight back on. And when people did start contacting me, I felt like a bit of a fraud, to be honest, man, because like my heart wasn't really in it as much anymore. And yeah, also because I'd been so obsessive about the nutrition side of things, it was really interesting to watch how I behaved afterwards, because as soon as I started eating normally again, the weight started piling back on very quickly and not in a good way. So that kind of demotivated me a little bit. But also because I deprived myself of certain things, when I fell off the wagon, I fell off it really hard. So that line about binging on junk like a fiend addicted, that's actually based on a couple of real experiences. And there was one time in particular, I remember I went on holiday shortly after, and there was one night where I snuck out and went to like a corner shop, bought about 5 or 6 bars of chocolate, came back to the hotel room, was just sat on my own on the bed, just scoffing them one by one after the other. And it might sound funny, but like in reality, it was actually quite scary, man, and very sad, because I remember sort of like, it was like I was watching myself do it, and I couldn't stop myself, and I was kind of like just behaving in this way, and I genuinely felt out of control, and it was quite scary, man. So yeah, after that I leveled out. You know, I still go to the gym. I still try and eat healthy, but I'm nowhere near as obsessive as I was about it before, and I'm much happier as a result of it. You know, all of this stuff is like a balance, and I think that's the important thing, and that's really the point I'm trying to make in this song. I'm not saying that you shouldn't exercise or that you shouldn't eat healthy. I'm not saying that at all. And like I said earlier, you know, making that transformation the first time absolutely changed my life, and it gave me the confidence and the belief that I can do anything that I put my mind to, and I genuinely believe that now. and that's translated into other areas of my life. So starting my own business, getting back into music, like it's had untold effect on every area of my life. But it's all about balance. So that's the one thing I would say, you know, like do this stuff, and it's great and you'll feel great and it's great for your health, but be sensible about it, and be healthy about it, like mentally and physically. And that's really why the song's called Long Way to Go, because even though I came a long way losing all that weight, I still had a long way to go emotionally and mentally with it. So that's it for this episode of Behind the Bars. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a long one, so if you've made it this far, well done. And as I say, I'm really glad that the track's resonated with people as much as it has. It gives me confidence to do more personal stuff like this in future. So thanks for your support. If you have enjoyed this video as well, please hit like and comment. And I've got some new tracks coming out soon, so I look forward to sharing them with you, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Cheers.